Man, this is some twisted shit, man. What you need with my head?
I'm just using it to carry your soul, sucker.
My soul? Fuck you. I killed you, you killed me, we even. Damn, why you gotta get all meta-fucking physical, nigga? Shit. I'm sick. Oh, you just gonna bang my shit up against the wall?
Hey guys, Old Ed Mike here. Thanks for coming to another episode of Beyond the Tapes, where I review horror VHS tapes in my collection. I have way more than this, actually. They're all over this room. Anyways, tonight's feature film is Bones from 2001. Bones is one of the first all-black casted movies from the early 2000s. It's one of my favorite haunted house style horror movies from the early 2000s, along the lines of House on Haunted Hill, Ghost Ship, 13 Ghosts, that kind of thing. It's a very fun film that gets surprisingly deep near the end. It has some pretty cool scares along the way, and good practical effects, by the way. So if you took House on Haunted Hill, Hellraiser, and Return of the Living Dead, you would get Bones. It's got some humor to it. Some argue too much humor, but to me, in a horror movie, in my opinion, I don't think there's such thing as too much comedy. Okay, maybe too much comedy, but you know, I think there's a point where you need some comedy at least, because you can get too serious and stuff starts to get boring pretty quick. But anyways, so I really want you to see this movie. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie, go over a little bit of the synopsis, give you my rating, and then afterwards I'll go just a little bit deeper into the story, just talk about some parts that I thought were really cool. But there's some twists, and I don't want to ruin it for you. And I know this is a pretty underrated movie, so I know a lot of you haven't seen it. It's available on Tubi, Tubi, the app. I haven't used the app myself. I hear a shit ton about it all the time, though. It's kind of like I guess a Crackle. It's free service. It's got ads, but there's tons of movies on it. I guess I really need to look into that. But anyway, so on to the movie. It's written by Ethan Raife and Cyrus Voris. Directed by Ernest Dickerson, who also directed Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, which is an awesome Tales from the Crypt movie. Also features a strong black lead, Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm waiting for the tape for that to come in before I can review that. I'm kind of looking for it. It's not that rare. I just haven't come across it yet. Ernest Dickerson has also done a lot of cinematography for Spike Lee movies, including Do the Right Thing, which is a great movie as well. So the film stars Snoop Dogg as the antagonist, as you would call him, the ghost. Most of the acting he's done prior to this movie were secondary roles or cameos. He does a great job in here. Opposite him is Pam Grier, legendary actress. She plays a sidekick who also was Snoop's love interest in his previous real life before he died. Bianca Lawson plays Pam Grier's daughter in this film. The film also stars Michael T. Weiss, Ricky Harris, Khalil Kain, and of course Catherine Isabel, my main bitch from Ginger Snaps. And so let's check out this tape. Alright, so here's the tape. Here you see Snoop Dogg as his character Bones. This includes a Snoop Dogg music video with exclusive concert footage. It has a track that plays at the end of the movie, which is pretty cool. Tagline is, "This dog's got a bone to pick." Yes, They use a lot of dog puns here. Says Bones ranks high as a hellish maggot-infested screamfest. Stephen Holden, New York Times. There is a lot of maggots in this movie. A lot like Hellraiser. It's pretty gross. My girlfriend almost threw up watching this. Alright, it says the time is 1979. Jimmy Bones, Snoop Dogg, is respected and loved as the neighborhood protector. When he is betrayed and brutally murdered by corrupt cop Lupovich, Bones' elegant brownstone becomes his tomb. 22 years later, the neighborhood has become a ghetto and his home a gothic ruin. 4 teens renovate it as an after-hours nightclub, unknowingly releasing Jimmy's tortured spirit. It's thrills and chills as blood spills when Jimmy's ghost sets about its frightful revenge, his killers unaware of the gruesome fate that awaits them. With each new victim, the terror mounts and Bones' vengeance spins out of control, threatening everyone in his path, including his former lover, Pearl Pam Grier. Overall, the box is in a pretty crappy shape. It looks like there was like stickers here that was removed, and obviously this one up here kind of ruins it, but it's still got its sheen. So let's get on to the review. So the plot here seems to be pretty basic at the start, but goes a lot deeper near the end and kind of flips on its heels. It starts as a basic haunted house film. These two guys, Ricky Harris and Khalil Kane's characters, they buy an abandoned warehouse type building to renovate for a nightclub. And surprise, surprise, it's haunted. They find some bones in the basement. And of course, they make the dumb mistake of disturbing the grave. This releases Snoop Dogg's character, Bones. His spirit gets released, and the corpse fills back up and comes back to life to wreak revenge on those who killed him and pretty much anybody in his path. Really, anybody. A lot of people die in this movie. So this is where it starts to get deeper. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, if you want to go see it, so stop this in a second after I give you my rating, and then go check it out on Tubi. Or if you just want to rent it without ads, you can do that. It's like, what, $3 on Amazon or something like that. I think you'll definitely want to see this. If you're into ghost movies, if you're into the movies from the early 2000s, or even Demon from Hell type movies, because this film borrows a lot of stuff from like Hellraiser in the last half of the movie. So for my ratings, the film does have its flaws. Snoop Dogg does use maybe one too many dog puns, but it's funny at the same time. It's a little slow to get going, but its use of social commentary underneath the deeper backstory that they give him later on, where you kind of realize Bones has every right to his revenge, and you kind of start rooting for him. It really keeps it more interesting than a lot of other ghost stories. You're not fearing for your life with the rest of them. You are like, yeah, kill that motherfucker. There's some cheesy CGI effects, as there were in the early 2000s. So if you've seen any of my other reviews, I've done a lot of 2000s movies. But there were still surprisingly enough practical effects to make up for it. A lot of really cool stuff. Like I said a few minutes ago, like Hellraiser, there's a lot of Hellraiser type vibes in this. Not to mention Snoop Dogg does an excellent job in this role. It's good to see him not being a supporting character, you know? So I'm going to give this 7 doggy bones out of 10. So now on to the spoilers. Alright, so after he gets revived, it's revealed that a white corrupt cop comes into Bones' neighborhood in the early 70s, and wants Bones, who at the time is kind of like a neighborhood protector, kind of like a mafia type thing. He provides protection for a lot of people. But so this corrupt cop comes in and wants him to start pushing crack, which, if you know anything about history, this is kind of really what happened back in those days. A lot of the whole crack pandemic, if you want to call it that, was pretty much designed by what do you want to call it? The white regime, the white system, to really hurt the black communities, and it's really sad to see. And it's sad to see that stuff like this from just a horror movie is actually pretty real. And that's why I think this gets pretty deep, because this is some real shit that happened, you know? Aside from the ghost part, even though, I mean, who knows, maybe that shit did happen too. So, Bones, Snoop Dogg is smart and refuses it. But the cop refuses to take no for an answer. The cop turns on him and stabs him to death. And this is all while his girlfriend, his bodyguard, and his partner are in the room. And so what he does is he holds his gun to the head of Snoop's associates and makes them all take turns stabbing him. I guess he's just sadistic. They don't fight him. They stab him, and that's what makes him want to get his revenge. This is a pretty sad and disturbing scene. Not only because of how fucked up it is, but again, you know, you can imagine stuff like this really happening, and still happens. So at this point, you start rooting for Bones' vengeance, and you really get it. A lot of people fucking die here. He gives zero fucks about who dies, who's innocent, who's guilty. Anyone involved fucking dies. Except for the girl who is revealed to be his daughter, with Pam Grier. Or maybe she does. I don't know. I'll need to watch it again because, for me, the ending felt kind of open-ended. Bones has the ability to push people into walls and throw them into a hell dimension. The only two survivors after this is Bones' daughter and his bodyguard's son. Right? So right before the credits roll, Bones' daughter turns and looks like she's possessed or demonic or something, and she's about to kill this dude, Patrick. So I'm wondering if he was still in the hell dimension, or she was just being used by Bones, she was possessed by Bones, or like he had control over her, or maybe she just flat out takes his side. You know, maybe she realizes, you know, hey, my mom helped kill my dad, all this stuff. Fuck it, I'm going to be on his side, you know, because she was wondering where he was all his life, and her mom lied to him. She didn't tell her, you know, hey, I murdered your dad. So at the end, you know, the building's burnt down, and now Bones' daughter is on to carry on his legacy, and that's it. Like I said, this was it's a very fun film that has a lot of comedy, but it really gets deep where it needs to, and I really appreciated it for it. Snoop Dogg does a great job. Please check it out. Thanks for staying and watching the spoilers. Gonna keep cranking out these videos as much as I can. Don't forget I'm doing a new series as well called Streaming Terror, where I review stuff that's specifically on different streaming platforms that I don't have tapes for, so like newer stuff. Check out those videos too. I'll have a link here on the side that'll pop up in just a second. So if you'll give me a like and subscribe, so stay tuned and you'll see plenty more content coming. And thanks for sticking with me. This is Old Head Mike signing off, reminding you you're never too old for this. I'll see you guys out there beyond the tapes.